Okay, so this class is recorded. Share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can.
You can see the screen, right? Okay, good. Okay, so first let me explain you the PMP exam syllabus again, so that you can quickly revise from your end also once the session get completed, and you can continuously be in touch with the subject. Okay. So actually this PMP exam is divided into 5 lessons or 5 chapters. Okay, which is constitute of like 3 domains: people, process, and business environment. Okay, and we have 10 knowledge areas. Okay, so and we have 3 project management methodologies, or you can say approaches. Like we have predictive or plan based or waterfall, you can say. Then we have agile, and third one is hybrid. Okay, these are the 3 project management approaches. So with this, actually, they will frame the question based on the exam content outline, which we are covering already. Okay. So there are 5 lessons: creating a high performance team and keeping the team on track. This is under people management, means people domain. Okay. And starting the project, doing the work. This is under process domain. And keeping the business in mind is like it is coming under business environment. So these are the 3 domains we have. Okay. So this link already I shared to you. Okay, so what we are doing now is doing the work. So in doing the work, we will be covering risk and other aspects. Okay, so I will be starting from here. So whenever you are preparing for exam also, like you plan and prepare like that only. Like go with, let's say example, you want to let's say example, you want to cover this section, doing the work. Okay, so you fully study doing the work part, means like risk management, communication management, what all is mentioned in the slide, right? You just go through the slides. Okay, and then you can do session wise quizzes, and then you can do the mock quizzes. Okay, mock quizzes you do at the end. Okay, so that it will be fresh in your mind, and you can write the exam after that.
So, Rafi, should I refer to this gain to Excel or the LMS?
Yeah, this is just a syllabus. This is the syllabus for exam. You can refer this also. This is just a syllabus. So syllabus for the exam, like we have for any exam, right? These are the these are
Topic
the
wise.
points, topping wise things. So we are covering in same format, like we have doing the work, right? We are covering the same things here, doing the work. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So as well as I'm means like mostly you will get some PMI material also. I am trying for that. Okay. So I will share you that PMI material also once it is obtained through me. Okay. So I'm
Sure, sure.
yeah. So I'll share you that also. So it will become very easy for you to track the exam and for your project management career as well. Okay. Now coming to the project management career. Okay. So what I suggest you is first to target completing this PMP certification. And once inshallah, if you clear the PMP certification, don't stop there only. So what I see from you is like you have good practical experience. Okay, based on my feedback, you can consider like that you have good practical experience, so you can utilize it effectively. So you do other certification also later on. Like I will see if I can provide you, or else you can do from your end also somewhere. You try to do Scrum Master. Okay, so you try to do Six Sigma.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you
Yeah.
do this and you actually try somewhere else, you will inshallah definitely get double the package what you are getting now,
Yeah.
because you have good practical experience. So and apart from that, if you add this certification stuff like PMP, Scrum Master, and let's say Agile, or Agile also you can add if you want. So Agile, I will see, I will do myself one. So Agile, Six Sigma, and Scrum Master, if you add in your profile. Scrum Master definitely you added, because I see you have a good exposure on
Yeah,
Scrum.
because that is our day-to-day activity. So
Yeah,
my plan is that only to after finishing this PMP, clearing after this.
yeah,
I mean, after clearing this, planning to take
yeah.
up Scrum
So
also.
yeah, so then you can try directly for a senior project manager position. Okay. So
Mhm.
building a career requires some effort. Like consider like for you, you have good practical exposure. So you can Like for a new person, it is 2 to 5 years of work is there actually. Like they have to, means they need to continuously keep on brushing their skill. They need to keep on study. So that will be continuously 2 to 5 years of work is there. For you, you have good practical exposure. I think within 1 or 2 years, you can settle in a good senior project management position.
Okay.
Based on my experience and what I see from your practical skill, what all you have, so you can just brush up and you can add some certification. So you'll definitely get senior project manager position once you do that. Okay, so that was about the career part. Okay, let us go for our syllabus, what we are doing. Okay, so doing the work. Okay, so doing the work means, like, again, this is coming under process domain. Okay, so we'll be covering access and manage risk, execute a project to deliver business value, manage communication, engage stakeholder, create project artifact, manage project changes, manage project issues, ensure knowledge transfer to project entry. These are the things which we'll be covering in doing the work part. Okay, so what are the things which we covered before? Also, you try to revise. Okay, so during these Eid holidays or during whenever you're free, so you keep on revising things. Okay, access and manage
Yeah.
risk. Okay, so how you will access, how you will address the risk, and how you will manage those risks. Okay, so how you will address the risk and how you will manage the risk will be covering in this section. So we have 10 knowledge areas. One of them is risk management. Okay, so inside risk management, under planning process group, we have 5 processes, and in execution we have one, and we in monitoring we have one. Okay, basically what we are doing is, first we need to plan for risk, means we need to manage how you will plan the risk. Okay, second thing is you need to identify the risk, means how, what all the risks are occurring in a project, whether those are individual risks or whether it is project risk. Okay, so these two kinds of risk you need to identify in project. Okay, then you need to have assessment of risk, means you need to see the probability and impact. What is the probability of occurring that risk? What is the impact of that risk occur? Okay, that is coming under qualitative risk analysis. Okay, then quantitative risk analysis, like what kind of risk, how many number of risks are occurring, how many individual risks that they are occurring in project, how many project risks are occurring in project. So this all things you need to track. Then you need to form a risk response strategy based on that. Okay, so risk response strategy, you will have the risk response, means if this risk occur, what I will do as a project manager. Okay, so then you will implement the risk response in the execution phase. So once you implement the risk response, you will see, if you implement that risk response, what are the other additional risk you will occur, it will occur. That is called a secondary risk. Sometimes if you implement the risk response also, you will face some additional things, something like that, like side effects, you can say. Okay, that are called as secondary risk. Then you have monitoring and controlling. There you will monitor the risk, means once you implement the risk response, whether the risk is like completely mitigated, or how it is the impact of that on the project. So you will monitor the risk. That is coming under monitoring and control. So with this summary, we'll proceed with the session. Okay, so as you see in this picture, okay, so risk is something you need to take it. So there is no option, you have to take it sometime. Okay, so there are some risks which are positive risk, and there are some risks which are negative risk. Okay, in life also and in project also. Okay, so project risk management include the process of conducting risk management planning. Okay, identification, okay, analysis, response planning, response implementation, and monitoring the risk on a project. Okay, very simple. The objective of project risk management are to increase the probability and impact of positive risk. Okay, so the main objective of managing this risk is, or planning or management or project risk management is, you should increase the probability of positive risk. What is positive risk? Example, you can say, let's say, for it can vary from company to company, it can vary from person to person. Okay, okay, person, first I will consider from individual perspective. Okay, so individual perspective, let's say example, positive risk. Okay, positive risk is, let's say example, you are building your career by learning project management skills, or you're learning PMP, you will be learning Six Sigma, or you will be doing, let's say, agile. Okay, you will be doing agile in deep. So then you will be doing Six Sigma later on. So you are actually building your career, but sometimes when you are building your career, it doesn't happen easily. You need to sacrifice so many things. You need to sacrifice your sometimes little bit of schedule, or sometimes you have to sacrifice your family life, or you can say like personal life. Sometimes you need to sacrifice your health also a little bit. You need to focus more, you need to study more. But these are positive risks. So in long term, it will yield benefit to you. Like example, after some age or after some time, means like definitely like you will get a better package. Okay, and where like that once you are settled, then like you can enjoy. This is like positive risk, you can say. Okay, so always as a project manager, you have to increase the chances of positive risk in project also, like that only. Okay, so coming to like a project means, like as example, if you take some risk, what happens is you will be able to complete project fast. Means if you hire additional resources, if you do crashing, if you in crashing, what we do, we'll hire additional people, and we will try to compress the schedule. Okay, so in that process, what we'll do is like we'll increase the budget, but the impact is like you will be able to complete project at faster time. Okay, or at faster rate, something like that. So this is like positive risk you can take in project, something like that. And you have to decrease the probability and impact of negative risk. Negative risk means, like example, project schedule is like delayed. Okay, that is negative risk. Means instead of completing project in 3 to 4 months, you took 6 months. That is not good as a project manager. So you need to actually mitigate the negative risk. So in order to optimize the chances of project success, so for your project success need to be successful, means you need to increase the probability of positive risk, and you need to decrease the probability of negative risk. Basically, what is the risk? Risk is something you can say like uncertain event or condition. Uncertain means it is like it is not in your control, or it is not something you have planned. Means like you have to plan it in project, but it is like uncertain condition. Okay, but if it occur, what exactly happened? It has positive and negative impact on project objectives. Okay, that is risk. So uncertain condition or event that occurs has a positive or negative impact or on all project objective or some individual project objective. Trigger condition, an event or situation that indicate that a risk is about to occur. Means like example, you are filling the petrol, right, in car or like bike. Sometimes you have the red color mark, right? The petrol is getting over, right? So that is the trigger condition, like telling you the risk is going to occur, means the petrol is going to get over. That is nothing but the trigger condition. Okay. Primary
Yeah, risk
components in,
indicator.
yeah, something like that in risk. Yeah. So primary components include a measure of probability that the risk event will occur. Okay. And the impact of the risk occurring on the project. So you have probability and impact. These are the two primary components on risk. Positive risk, risk that produce a positive project outcome, as I explained you, also referred to as opportunities, right? So opportunity means like some kind of like you can say like it is good for you. Like opportunity means you have to utilize it always, right? Something like that. Negative risk, risk that have negative impact on the project, also referred to as threat. Okay. So negative risk are also called as threat. Positive risk are also called as opportunities. Risk management approach, the project management knowledge area that includes the processes of conducting risk management planning, identification, analysis, response planning, how you respond for the risk, and how you implement those responses, and after that, how you monitor the risk. This is called as project risk management. Okay. So increase the chances of reward, and you are balancing the things, how you will reward and how you will risk something. So risk management plan, a component of the project, program, or portfolio management plan that describe how risk management activities will be structured and performed. Okay, this is coming under risk management plan. Okay, so how you will manage and how you will perform, whether it is a program or whether it is a project or whether it is a portfolio. So inside this, you have risk strategy, means what kind of plan you will have for managing the risk. Then you have methodology, then you have roles and responsibility, who will be taking care of those risks, funding, what amount you are spending, timing, what time it took for the risk category, stakeholder risk appetite, how much risk they are able to tolerate, you can say. definition of risk, probability and impact matrix, reporting format, tracking. These are the things which we are going to cover more in detail. So risk breakdown structure, you have a project. Let's say example in project, we have different categories of risk. Some risks are technical risk, some risks are external risk, some risks are organization, some risks are project. Okay. So you will categorize the risk into various categories. So in technical categories, it can be based on requirements, technology, complexity, performance, or quality. In external, it can be from some vendor, supplier, or market condition. In organization, it can be based on resources, funding, or prioritization. And in project management, it can be based on estimation, planning, and communication controlling like that. So how to identify the risk? Okay. Basically, for identifying the risk, you need to have some kind of expert judgment. People who are already involved in the project, or people who are expert level knowledge in managing the similar project. So you can take expert advice from them. Then there are some data gathering technique like brainstorming. You will have a facilitation session where you will take feedback from different team members, and then you will come to some points. Then you have some checklist analysis. Then you have interviews. Okay. Similarly, you have some data analysis tools. Like example, you have root cause analysis with the cost and effect diagram. Okay. So root cause analysis we already seen. Like example, what is the impact and what is the cost. Basically, this root cause analysis is useful wherever you want to find out what is the cost and what is the effect of the risk, or if you want to know what is the impact of the risk. Okay. Assumptions and constraint analysis. Okay. Then you have sort is strength, weakness, opportunity, threat analysis. Then document analysis. Then you have facilitation workshop, prompt list meeting, and risk workshop. So example, to identify a risk, you have tools and technique. It can be political, it can be economical, it can be social, it can be technological, it can be environmental or legal. You can say short form PESTEL. So these are different categories from which the risk can occur in a project. Okay. So how do we define a risk? So risk is nothing but something which happens, or something which already is going to happen, or when it will happen will generate some kind of positive or negative impact on the project, or some kind of negative consequences or positive consequences on the project. Example, let's say in some project some material is falling short. Okay. Or something is really out of scope. That is also one kind of risk or threat in the project. The two levels of risk basically, that is individual risk and project level risk, means overall project level risk. Individual risk, as I explained you, these are some uncertain event or condition. It has impact on individual project objectives. Overall project risk means it has impact on overall project. Means if it occurs, it will have impact on cost, schedule, or time. Okay, that is overall project risk. We must deal equally with the risk in the project and the riskiness of the project. Means what are the risks which are occurring in the project, and how the risk is there in the overall project, that also you have to take care. So there is one more classification of risk, that is based on effect and source. Means effect means what effect it will be having on time, cost, schedule, and scope. And source means from which source, internal source, or whether it is from external vendor, or technical, or whether it's non-technical, or it is some general or industry specific. That is coming under source business. There are some business kind of risk also that is coming from business. Means some business is getting means like affected, or some loss or profit in business. Okay. So some can be related with inventory. Okay. That also is one of the business risk. Then you have insurable risk, means like only potential for loss. Means if you are feeling like some loss is there, so only no potential for profit, then you need to get it insured from some company, or you need to buy some kind of insurance policy, that is insurable risk. So business risk types, you have competitive, legislative, monetary, and operational. Competitive means some kind of competitors are there in the market. Okay, that is also one of the risks. Legislative means some kind of government rules and regulations which are coming into picture. Okay. Monetary means some kind of raw materials it is getting over, or whether it is not getting sufficient. Operations means some kind of theft occur, some kind of injury have occurred at workplace. That is also a form of business risk. So risk tolerance, appetite, and threshold. Okay, tolerance means how much risk you can tolerate in a project. Okay, like you can give a range, like up to this extent I will tolerate the risk. Okay, means if it occurs about this, so I will not tolerate. Okay, this is called as risk tolerance. Risk appetite means how much you can willing to accept the risk. Okay, in that anticipation of some kind of reward. That is risk appetite. Then you have a risk threshold. So the level of risk exposure above which the risk are means if this occur, I will take some action on this, something like that. I have given an example like about the petrol getting over. So you will fill the petrol. That is risk threshold. Okay. Same thing is expressed here in the form of some figure. Okay. So guidelines to iteratively identify access and prioritize risk. That means how you can identify, how you can address the risk, and how you can prioritize. Means which risk you have to give more priority. Okay. So perform a structural review of appropriate documentation from other planning process with key project stakeholder to ensure an understanding of each. So you need to involve all the key stakeholder. You need to talk with them. So you need to understand their point of view, and you need to come into some conclusion. Use one or more risk identification technique to identify risk and the possible triggers. What are the conditions which are causing this risk? So these all things you need to go through. So be consistent means always you need to continuously be taking some actions. Okay, whatever method you adopt, apply it systematically across your project. Means all the project areas you need to consider. Okay, so initiation, planning, monitoring, and controlling, and then closing. So everything need to be uniformly addressed. Okay, so before the project begin, identify the risk in every project segment, work package. Apply your method consistently, but be on the lookout for special circumstances. Some circumstances occur which are not, always prepare for that also. So consult relevant historical information such as this response plan and final report from previous similar project. So in the previous similar project, if any risk occurs, so you just have a note on that as well. Okay, so just go through that as well. So one risk have been identified, group them into categories. We have seen, right? Environmental risk, then you have organizational risk, then you have insurable risk. So you can categorize that risk accordingly so that you can address it with ease. So use the result of your analysis to initiate the risk register. So there is something called as risk register also. You need to initiate it and you need to document this risk in the risk register. So identify risk, the output is risk register. Okay, why risk register? So you need to document that risk. So on completion of the identify risk process, you need to have the content of the risk. Means what are the risks you have identified? Who is the owner of this? Somebody has to be the owner also of that risk. Means you can ask that person if this risk occurs, what action you take. So that will be the owner or accountable person for the risk. Then you have risk response for also for that. What response you took if that risk occurred. Okay. So basically the risk register is something like this. You have ID, you have risk source, you have risk event, and what are the consequences of the risk. Then the second output of identify risk is risk report. Basically, you will prepare report. Means like what is the financial thing about the risk, what is the compliance thing about the risk. Then you have strategic thing about the risk and the operational. If it occurs, what is the operational impact of the risk? So you actually prepare the report about it. So that was about planning and identification of risk. Next is qualitative risk analysis. Basically, this will be having things related to how the probability and the impact about that risk. So qualitative risk analysis, the technique used to determine the probability of occurrence and the impact of each identified risk. So determine the risk exposure of the project by multiplying the probability and impact. So basically how you will identify or address the risk is through probability and impact. Okay. So it provides the list of prioritized risk for further actions. Means what is the priority of this risk? Which risk is more means like impactful? Which risk needs to be addressed first? So based on the priority, you can arrange it. So in the qualitative risk analysis, you do evaluation. Okay, so you will see the what is the risk degree. Okay, then you'll examine the accuracy. Then you will see what is the data quality, whether it is like poor or whether it is you need to make it more like uniform. Okay, then you will risk related to data collection can consume more resources. Sometimes if you are dealing with this stuff, you need more resources also, more time also. Risk qualitative risk analysis, there are some tools and technique. One of them is risk probability and impact matrix. So what is this risk probability and impact matrix is, like you will give a scaling like very high, high, medium, low, very low, need. This is like scale. And then you will say like probability. So what are the chances of occurring this risk? Probability means chances of occurring the risk. You will give like, if it is above 70%, I will put it under very high. If it is in this range, I will put it under high. If it is medium, I will put it under this range. If it is low, in this range. If it is very low, under this range. If it is nil, like, so like this, you will make one assessment matrix, and you will prepare a table like this. Okay, so inside this, you will put all the details what you need to do in respect to quality. So example, one more example is here, like for probability impact matrix. So this is actually a grid for mapping the probability of occurrence of each risk and its impact on project objective if that occurs. Okay, if it occurs, what are the impact on project? So what is actually the negative risk we call basically, someone?
Can you ask that again?
Yeah, what is the negative
what
risk?
is that?
What is the in a project? What is the negative risk actually is called?
Uh, Negative risk is 1 second. I'll say that positive risk is opportunity.
Yeah,
Negative risk is
here only threat.
yeah, threat. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
Here only.
Okay,
That's why I
threats. Yeah,
ask you. You have to be like proactive. You have to understand also. In PMP exam also, like
correct, correct.
if some question comes in a scenario, so if you are proactive and if your mind work in that direction, you can answer very easily. So
Correct, correct.
positive risk is called as opportunity and negative risk is called as threat. So here we have one matrix, like what is the positive impact, what is the negative impact, and what is the probability of occurring that risk. So we have categorized this one based on matrix. So what they will ask in exam sometime is like they will actually leave this part blank. Okay, they'll ask you what is this actually. So they will because this is from PMBOK guide. Okay, so they will remove this one, and then in the option they will mention some points. So you just need to choose that one. That's it.
Got it.
So risk can be categorized by source or root. Cause means from where it is occurring. Useful in developing risk response. Okay. Categorized by source, risk breakdown structure, area of project from where it is occurring. Okay. So it can be quality risk or it can be scope or schedule. These are the different risk categories. Okay. This is the risk register which has probability and impact, and what is the risk value. So sometime in exam, they're asking this question like risk value. What is the risk value? They'll give you probability and impact. Simply you need to multiply this. That's it. Okay. Then quantitative risk analysis is a technique used to assess the risk exposure event to overall project objective, what it is, and determine the confidence level of achieving the project. Means how you can proceed the project further if, by actually mitigating this risk. It helps to identify the time and cost contingency of project. Means if this risk occurred, what is the time, additional time you need to spend? What are the additional costs you need to? Basically, it deals with the numbers. Like means cost number means like for example, you have to spend additionally $1,000. Means you need to spend additionally 2 months. So that is actually coming under qualitative risk analysis. So refines and enhance the prioritization and scoring of risk. Okay. So it refines means it actually fine tune and enhances the prioritization and scoring of risk. Means how you will score it, the risk based on this. So like this example, we have tools and technique for quantitative risk analysis is Monte Carlo. So Monte Carlo analysis, what we will do, we will follow some simulation technique. So we will see what is optimistic, what is most likely, what is pessimistic. So we categorize it based on PERT, program evaluation and review technique, PERT. So you remember what is the beta distribution and triangular distribution formulas for this?
I need to revise once again.
Okay, so I'll tell you once again, no problem. See, in PERT we have a triangular distribution, and we actually basically most of the time they'll ask beta distribution exam. Okay, if they mention, if they don't mention, by default it is beta distribution. So that is P plus 4M plus O divided by 6. And for triangular distribution, P plus M plus O divided by 3. Okay. So pessimistic means worst case scenario. Pessimistic means worst case scenario. Okay. And optimistic means best case scenario. Okay. Opposite of pessimistic. O means optimistic means best case scenario. Okay. So most likely means which is occurring frequently. That is most likely. Something like that. So that is how we actually calculate the PERT estimate, means program evaluation and review technique, like this. Make note of special conditions. Okay, so you need a network diagram for this technique to work. This technique cannot be applied on individual risk. Okay, so network diagram means like you have a diagram where we will calculate like what is the critical path and that you can revise some cost management area slides, so you will come to know. It's very easy. So do not jump to the Monte Carlo analysis simulation just after you have completed the task estimation. You need to assess the risk for each individual risk before attempting to run the Monte. Means individual risk, what is the impact? You need to find out. Then only you have to go to Monte Carlo analysis. Okay, this is just an example like this. Okay. So this is also one of the simulation practice, like how you are calculating what is the distribution, like what is the frequency, and how if it occurs, what is the impact on the project. Okay. Similar to Monte Carlo analysis, we have sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity means it will help to determine which individual project risk or sources of uncertainty have the most potential impact on project. So in a project, sometimes risk what means like if it occurs, it has some impact, right? So this impact also varies. So most impact, which is the one, okay, based on that we categorize. So that is called as sensitivity analysis. Example, we have like manufacturing reactor is having more impact here. Okay. So similarly, there is one more, there are few more components, like let's say example, a pillar contractor. Okay, this is not having that much impact. Okay. Then you have like construction control. This is having this much impact. Okay. So hydrost may find fuel. This is having not that much impact. This is called as tornado diagram. So in the tornado diagram or sensitivity analysis, what we are doing is which project or individual risk has more impact, how you will categorize them. Okay, so we'll prepare one diagram. So similar to that one, we have decision tree analysis. Decision tree means like how you will decide based on this figures or based on your project. Okay, so let's say example, if you build, what is the impact on project? If you upgrade, what is the impact on project? Okay, after building a new plant, what is the demand, whether it's strong demand or weak demand? After upgrading, what is the demand, strong or weak? So this we are categorizing based on a tree. This is called as decision tree analysis. Okay, so if you build, you have to spend $120. If you upgrade, you have to build, you have to spend $50, something like. Okay, similar to this we have categorized, like example, we are having chance. Okay, so if input is scenario to probability, okay, output is EMV. EMV we calculate. Okay, in exam they're asking this also, what is the EMV value? Simple, EMV means expected monetary value. We can calculate with probability and impact. Okay, expected monetary value means let's say example, if they give a probability as, let's say example, 60%, impact, let's say they say 40,000. Okay, that time you need to multiply it, then you will get the value EMV. Okay, we have some mock questions for that, so in that also we have problem. Okay, I think this part is clear. So just multiple examples are there. Okay, so not much. So here we are just seeing some calculation. We are doing some calculation here. So based on that, we are deciding whether we need to build or whether we need to upgrade. Okay. So in exam, they'll not ask exact calculation. Basically, they'll ask some values, or they will just ask you to tell whether a building is good or upgrading is good. That then you have to see what is the expected monetary value. Means like example, if you are spending more, it is not good, right? Something like that. So we have some mock questions for this one. I think that time it will be more clear to you. Okay. So project document that can be considered as output for this process include, but are not limited to risk report. Okay. So risk report is actually one of the output of perform quantitative risk analysis, but is not limited to that. You have to
risk register is also an
risk
output, right?
There are two output: risk register and risk report. Okay, risk register is you will have
Okay, both.
a, yeah. So this we have seen in the previous slide. What is risk register? There is some
Sure.
format for that. That's it. So detailed probabilistic analysis of the project, trend in quantitative analysis result. Okay. So it will tell you like what is the impact of that risk and how you have analyzed and how your category is based on the number. Based on the number, like what is the cost and what is the schedule impact. So okay, you prepare the quantitative risk analysis risk report. Then you have risk response management, means how you will respond for the risk if it occurs. Okay. So risk response means planning risk response consisting of developing action, selecting strategies, and agreeing on action to address overall project risk as well as to treat individual. Basically, we have two risks: overall project, what there it is impacting, and then we have individual risk cost. Individual project means individual project objective, what it is the impact. Okay. So based on that, we have a risk response planning. So risk are addressed by priority, means what is have the most impactful risk, means in terms of cost and schedule. We'll address that first. Okay. And then the resources, means what is the impact on resources and the activities on the project, what you're doing. So each risk is assigned a risk response. So it means what if for each this if this record this response I will follow like that. So there are various risk response strategies to choose from to determine and response for each risk. Means each risk what you are doing is that. So then you have a fallback plan. Fallback plan means like if you have developed the risk response plan, if that is not effective, what action you will take. Like backup plan you can consider. That is the fallback plan. There are some risks which is called as secondary risk. Means if you have done some risk response, with that also there are some risk occurring. That is called as secondary risk. Okay. So these are the risks that could occur as a result of implementing a risk response. Okay, this is very important for exam. Negative risk strategies. In negative risk strategy, what all we have? Escalate, avoid, transfer, mitigate, and accept. Escalate, avoid, transfer, mitigate, and accept. These are called as negative risk strategies. Negative risk means threat to the project, right? So what you need to do? Escalate. Escalate means you will escalate to your manager or peers or someone, okay, who is above you. Like sometimes you need to escalate also. That is coming under negative. Avoid means you totally like example, if it occurs, you are avoiding it, something like that. Transfer means you are purchasing some kind of, let's say example, insurance, that is coming under transfer, or some bond, something. Mitigating means you are performing some action for that risk. Okay. So if this occurs, this is the action plan I am going to do. Accept means you accept it as it is. Okay. So what we are doing here in strategies for negative threat or negative risk or threat is escalate. So basically, escalate is appropriate when the project team or the project sponsor agrees that a threat is outside the scope of the project or what proposed response will exceed the project manager's authority. Means you will escalate to the sponsor. Means this is not under my control. You need to come into example like cost is getting means the cost of the project is too much or the schedule is not getting sufficient. You will escalate to the sponsor. Escalate risks are managed at the program level also or portfolio level also, or it can be addressed at relevant organization level also, and it cannot be at project level. Okay. Basically, it is outside of your project. Means you are escalating it to someone, right? Something like that. Strategies to for threat, avoiding the negative risk and threat. How you will avoid it? Basically, changing the project plan to eliminate that. Means you change the plan. Okay. Clarifying the requirement to avoid discrepancy. Hire additional project team members. If the resource is not getting sufficient, you hire additional member and use some kind of proven methodology based on experience of some expert judgment or based on the experience of expert people. Then you have transferring the negative risk. Transferring means, like as I showed you, buying some kind of third-party insurance, okay, or buying some kind of bond, okay, to take care of that risk. Then you have mitigating part. Mitigating means this is actually the one of the best response strategy actually. So mitigating risk is an effort to reduce the probability and or impact of identified risk in the project. Means you are actually reducing the probability. That is called as mitigating. Okay. Mitigation is done based on the logic. Means if it occurs, this action I will perform, something like that. The cost and time to reduce or eliminate the risk is more cost effective than repairing the damage caused by the risk. Means if you spend some money in preventing that risk. That is more effective instead of waiting for the risk to happen and you will spend some money, something like that. So examples are adding activities to the project, okay, simplifying the process within the project, okay, completing more tests, okay, developing prototype simulator like we have seen Monte Carlo analysis and risk matrices, what all we have seen in the previous slide. So strategies for threat accepting the negative risk. So there is one more negative risk strategy is accepting. So accepting means acceptance indicate a decision not to make any changes to the project plan to deal with the risk or that a suitable response strategy cannot be made. So accept is as it is. If it occurred, I will not perform any action, something like that. That is called as accept. In acceptance also there are two types, active acceptance and passive acceptance. Active acceptance means you have some kind of contingency plan for that. Okay. So in passive acceptance, you don't have any contingency plan. There are no actions performed. So that is coming under passive acceptance. So after negative risk strategies, we have positive risk strategies. Positive risk strategies are escalate, exploit, enhance, share, and accept. There are some changes. Escalate is there in negative also, but here instead of enhance, you have instead of transferring, you have exploit, or you have enhance. Okay, some things extra. Then you have share, means you are sharing the risk. Then you have accept. Okay, well, some points are common in negative and positive. Like example, escalate and accept are common. Okay, and you don't have here exploit, enhance, and share. Okay, exploit and enhance are present in positive risk. You don't have in negative risk. So exploit you have here avoid. Okay, then you have transfer, mitigate like that. Okay, so here you have exploit, enhance, and share. So in exam they can ask you some very easy questions also. So mitigation of a risk is coming under which kind of risk response strategy? What is the answer?
Mitigating the
Mitigating a risk is coming under which kind of risk response strategy?
Risk response.
No. See, it is coming under negative risk strategies. Like example, here you have share, right? Here you have mitigate. Here you have share. Something like that.
Okay.
Sometimes they will ask you like sharing of risk, whether it is coming under positive or negative. It is coming under positive, something like that. So this can come in. This can come in match the following also. You will get three questions of match the following format. Match the following. What they will do is on the left side they will tell you some options like escalate, exploit, enhance, share, accept, and right side you have to fill the explanation for that one. You have to match the explanation for that one. Example, escalate is there. So explanation is like this. Escalation is appropriate when the project team or the project sponsor agrees that a appointee is outside the scope of the project. Means it is not in your control. That's why you're escalating to your sponsor, right? So based on that, you need to match the answer in the exam. Sometimes they'll ask you this one, like example, sharing the risk. Okay, sharing means what will happen in sharing? You have a mutually beneficial appointee, means you have two organizations sharing the risk, right? So there is mutual understanding between them. That is coming under sharing the risk. Sometimes they'll mix also in match the following. They will add mitigate, they will add sharing, they will add like exploiting, they will add escalate. Okay, so all this thing you need to match it accordingly. That's it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so enhancing means enhancing a project risk looks for solution. Okay, a trigger or other device to ensure that the risk does come to fruition so that the reward of the risk can be realized by performing. Enhance means how you can deal with this, means how you can spend money if it occurs something. Accepting the risk means how you'll accept the risk. Risk acceptance is the process of simplifying accepting the risk because no other action is feasible. Means if sometimes there's no choice, you need to accept the risk, something like that. That is called as accepting the risk. So in accepting the risk, you have passive and active acceptance. Passive means there is no action performed at your end. Okay. Active means if it occurs, I have a contingency plan. I will follow the contingency plan. So acceptance may be used for both positive or negative risk. Okay, that is coming in both the categories. What is contingency plan? A risk response strategy developed in advance before things go wrong. Okay, so if something goes really wrong, what is the plan you have? It is meant to be used if and when identified risk become reality, means if it occurred already. Okay. And then what you need to follow and what plan you need to follow, something like that. It allows a project management to react quickly and appropriately to the risk event, mitigating its negative impact or increasing its potential threat. You need to mitigate the negative impact and you need to increase the potential threat. Okay, what is the benefit out of that? May include a fallback plan. In that, you what all fallback plan you have planned, you need to adopt that and you need to implement it.
Yeah, this we usually prepare for our production deployments. Like if we have any issue during the deployment, what is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
contingency plan to roll it back?
Yeah, like goal
Roll back to
activities whenever you're doing, right? You have some kind of plan. Like if it occurs
correct.
and if the things go plan as per the go live plan, you will do this. Means like you will not perform any action. If it occurs, you have some fallback plan, something like that. Working with residual risk. Residual means whatever leftover risk. Okay. So how you will deal with leftover risk? The risk response plan also acknowledges any residual risk that may remain after planning, avoidance, mitigation, or transfer. Even after doing all the things, whatever leftover risk, whatever you do is residual risk. So residual risks are typically minor and have been acknowledged and accepted. Means this is not having much impact, you can say. So management may elect to add both contingency costs and time to account for residual or within the project. You can spend some money for this if you want to eliminate this risk. Okay. These are just various categories of risk: low risk, moderate risk, and high risk. Accounting for risk, secondary risk. Secondary risk are risks that stem from risk response. Means when you implemented this risk response, you have faced this risk. That is secondary. For example, transference may elect to hire a third party to manage a identified risk. Means if you hire some third party for this, that is called as insurance also sometimes. So a secondary risk caused by the solution is the failure of the third party to complete their assignment as scheduled. Okay. Sometimes you, if this also is not working, you have one more risk, that is something called a secondary risk. So secondary risk must be identified, analyzed, and planned just as any other risk. Means if that thing also not working, what you will do? Something like plan, something like that. So output of risk response is risk register update. So in the exam also they might ask you, okay, what is the output of risk response? So output is risk register update. Okay, means you will update the risk register. So the word is risk register update. So in this, what we are doing, agreed upon risk strategies we are putting. Okay, specifying action to implement the chosen response strategy. What you want to do? Okay, trigger conditions, symptoms, warning signs, budget and schedule activities. Okay, contingency plan and risk trigger. Okay, fallback plan, what all you have followed. Okay, residual risk. Okay, leftover risk. Then the secondary risk. Okay, that arise from direct outcome or for after implementing those risks. Risk register update is managed like this. Like you have ID, risk score, risk event, risk consequences, probability and impact. What is the risk value, strategy? Okay, action plan. Who is the owner? Okay, duration and cost. Okay. Now, this is the summary of project risk management process. Okay. So in project management, risk management process, as I told you, we have to first plan the risk management. Okay, as a project manager, how you will identify, how you will assess, how you will actually implement the risk, what are the risk response planning you need to identify. Okay. The first thing is you need to identify the risk. Okay. Then you need to analyze the risk. Okay. Then you need to have some kind of response plan. Then you need to control, means you have implemented the risk response plan, whether it is having some impact on other project objective and how you need to deal with this. So that all things you need to take care as a part of project risk management. So guidelines to determine and implement risk response. Examine each identified risk to determine its causes and how it may affect the project objectives. So brainstorming can be useful in that scenario. Okay. Choose the response strategy that is most likely to be effective for each. And so what is the effective strategy you need to implement for all the identified risks? If you are unable to bring a risk rating below the organizational risk ratio, ask your sponsor for. Sometimes you need to ask for sponsor help, like we are escalating, right? Something like that. So you need to have identified backup strategy for risk with high risk factor score. So if the risk factor score is very high, means like probability and impact value is very high. So that time you need to have a backup strategist also. Determine the amount of contingency reserve necessary to deal with that affected risk. Okay. Determine how much contingency reserve you have and how much you can plan for future use. Consider the risk management plan. Okay. Incorporate risk response plan into an overall project plan or objective. So what is the overall risk and what are the individual risks? So you need to have a response plan for both of them. So that was about risk management knowledge area and session. Okay. So we'll do some this one LMS session
Yeah,
wise
exactly.
quizzes. Then we'll wind up. Okay. Then you can revise
Sure,
what all.
sure. Okay.
So you keep on revising the slide. It will become very easy for the PMP exam. What are the slides are there, right? If you revise at least
Yeah.
example before giving exam, if you revise the 3 to 4 times, minimum 3 times, maximum 4 times is sufficient. Okay. So minimum 3 times if you revise and maximum 4 times if you revise this slide, right? So then if you start attempting session wise quizzes and after that you start attempting more, okay, so you will find the difference actually. Okay, so you will
Yeah.
see like you will be answering more questions accurately. Okay, so there will be one some difference in your scores.
Got it.
So we did today doing the work here. Okay, we'll try to answer questions with these things.
Okay, so as the project team gains better understanding of the value their product might deliver, they are excited to make the product a reality. Due to the volume of features and work required, the project team decides to deliver to delivery something spelling mistake, I think. So to deliver incrementally. What are some benefits to this strategy? Creates a sense of urgency to deliver part of a solution, allows progress to be realized, makes senior leadership promote their work, allows the team to discard and ignore the challenging work, enables the end user to provide feedback. Uh, First, second, and fifth.
First, second, and fifth. First, fifth. Okay, this is based on your experience. You're saying so. This involves a bit of agile
Yeah.
also. So agile things are coming into picture. So let us see. Okay, excellent, man. You're very good in agile, man. You have to definitely do agile certified professional and a scrum master, and you will surely excel.
Yeah.
Because I can see you have good practical knowledge actually.
Yeah,
So,
because we practice it daily, right? So that's
yeah. So this certification, agile certified professional and scrum master, you do it at any cost. It is very, very useful.
My plan is that only after clearing this.
So what are the example of tacit knowledge?
Examples of tacit knowledge, beliefs and experience, words, numbers, and pictures. Anything of value to another person. Words, numbers, and pictures.
Okay, tacit knowledge actually, wrong, man. See, tacit knowledge means which comes from experience or some belief.
Beliefs,
like,
yeah, first.
Like example, you are working with your senior, let's say example in project. So you will learn with his experience. Like he will share, you need to do like this in project,
Correct.
something else. So that is
Nobody will explain.
Yeah, nobody will explain about it. So that can only be obtained through experience and your beliefs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember for the exam also, this can come in exam. Like this very easy question sometimes they'll ask in exam. So 30% question in exam will be very easy. 30% of question will be moderate. Okay. And 30% question will be a little tough. 10% question is like it is like no one control. Like that if you make it right, it is right. Wrong means wrong. It is some PMI methodology actually.
So which of the following is a tool used to manage changes to the service? Version control, configuration management system, artifact management. What is the tool used to manage changes? Version control.
Yeah, no. Version control is a tool or it is manage to change. Which of the following is a tool? Version control is like example. Let's say you are doing example. There's one tool. I don't know which tool you're using in your company. Like we used to use
Git.
something. You're using some tool. Like we used to use HP, some PMP, something like that. HB Project Manager.
HP. Yeah,
Are you-
HPALM.
So that used to do version controlling. But what is that called?
Oh,
Version
okay. Then
controls
it is configuration management system.
system or this one?
System.
System, we don't have any word configuration management system. We have something like that in
Oh,
this is a made up term. These two are made up term. Artificial and this one are made up term. This is made up term.
Okay.
Artificial management system, we don't have like that. Configuration
Then it
management
should be
system was
Yeah, then it should be configuration management.
okay. So like this, you have to be very careful for answering the question.
Uh,
Okay. So see,
okay.
tool for versioning control are many. Okay. So you're getting a point. There can be many tools for version control, but what is the tool called?
Oh,
Configuration
okay.
management.
That is the
Configuration management for
okay,
all
got
the
it.
product and services, something like that. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay. The management of project knowledge exists on three levels. What are they? Technical,
Oh,
administrative, and procedural. Individual, project, and organization. Scope, schedule, and budget. Practical, theoretical, and actual. Project knowledge exists on three levels. Okay. Individual, project, and organization.
yeah, good, excellent. So it's very clear, right? At three level basically.
Yeah, straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Which item should you use to determine the communication needs for your project stakeholders?
This is from
Um,
stakeholder management, but if you can try, it's up to you.
yeah, project stakeholders communication. Project report deadlines.
Project report deadline. Is it? I sure this is one.
So,
This is one. A stakeholder analysis data.
oh,
Basically, for analyzing stakeholder need, we use this tool, stakeholder data. It'll come to you in stakeholder management. That time you can reattempt this quiz, no problem.
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. When should transfer of knowledge take place? At the end of the project, at the end of each phase of the project, when the lessons learned are toward the project. Uh, transfer of knowledge. Actually, at the end of each phase of project.
Sure. Because let's say example,
Yeah,
you're
I
working
mean,
on a project. Okay, let's say you started on project and you find out, let's say in the initiation phase, you example, like the resources, what you need for the project are not sufficient. Okay. So instead of 10 resources, you find out, like example, you need 12 resources. Okay. So you'll document it. No, I need that instead of 10, I need to put it 12. And then in planning example, when you're doing planning, you find out like, the cost, example, if it is 120 million. So 120 million is not sufficient for me. I need at least 150 million for this project. Okay. So then you will change it. Then in execution, let's say you are doing something. Okay. Like while executing, you have seen like the laptops are not sufficient. Means laptop shortage is there. Okay. So that time you need to order additional laptops. Okay. Something like that. So what we are doing this, like transfer of knowledge is taking place continuously or only in some phases?
yeah. Then it is continuously only. So throughout the project.
Okay, got it, right? Like this, you need to use your
Yeah.
logic and experience while answering the questions.
Okay, got it. Because literally, if I think it is usually at the each phase end,
Yeah,
but
so transfer
yeah,
of knowledge, it takes
logically.
place in all the phases, throughout the project, in all the phases. Okay, this is a little tricky. You need to do it.
Which artifact would you likely include under version control? Mm,
So let's say example, you're doing versioning control. Okay, like example, CVS tool you're using or any tool of HP or from other company. So what are the document you will put here?
Okay.
Approved document. This should be approved document. Okay.
Okay. So stakeholder register, schedule management plan, and lessons learned. List of assumptions.
I think this is correct. Okay, let's all will see it.
Okay.
Okay, this is correct. So stakeholder register is wrong.
Oh.
List of assumption is right, but you need to have a project document
Project
charter as a okay.
Okay. Because
So
I
these are
thought
the
project charter will be done only once.
project charter
I
is
thought-
like it is an artifact basically, approved document. Artifacts are nothing but approved document. So approved documents usually go to like some kind of like you can put it under version control also. So schedule management means it related with the timings, means our schedule. Okay, assumption means what are the assumption. These two are correct. There is project chart. Stakeholder register is like you, if you want to identify the stakeholder, those all people you are putting in stakeholder register. Who ultimately responsible for transferring knowledge learned during the project?
Who is ultimately responsible for transfer? Project manager.
Okay, let's see it. Most probably.
It's work package not solved.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. Okay. So ultimate accountable or person is project manager. Okay, very good. Time out, I think. And you know
time
about
out.
okay, so we'll restart it again, no problem. So I think this one, first one we have done it, right? Which are the following? Okay, this we have not done, right? You got shuffled questions. So this is coming under communication management. We'll come back to this topic again. Just we are doing revision. So you can say like we are just doing it for our knowledge purpose.
Hello, can you hear me, Rafi?
Yeah. Which of the following is not a component of communication management plan?
This was not the question which came earlier. So which is not a component of communication management plan. Initiator and receiver of project communication. Stakeholder register. The collection and transfer of institutional knowledge. The frequency of each communication. So not component of communication management plan.
So in communication plan, what all we need to have? So then the leftover will be the answer, something like that. So this should be there, frequency of each communication in communication management plan.
Yeah, weekly, monthly, something like that.
Collection and transfer of institutional knowledge, this should be there in communication management plan.
Yeah. What knowledge should be transferred?
Stakeholder register.
Stakeholder register is not the one.
Okay, initiation of, let's see. Okay, good. Stakeholder register is there in the stakeholder management plan. Okay, not here.
We don't have to communicate it every time.
Yeah. Okay, this one we already seen it.
Yeah, beliefs, experience, insights.
Which item should you use to determine the communication needs of your project
Stakeholder.
This one you remember is for exam also. Okay. Even the session wise quizzes you can do multiple time also. Okay, this one we have seen already. The beginning.
No, I think this one is not done.
Okay. Which is the lesson learned register? Okay, when is the lesson learned register created? You're not done this one.
No, this is not done. At the conclusion of the project, after all the tasks, after completion of first phase of work, at the beginning. No. Second one.
This second one, after the completion of first phase of work, on what basis actually?
Yeah.
Like example, first phase of work. First phase of work means, let's say, like what exactly it means? I think it's a made up term. After completion of first phase of work, what is this actually? It's a made up term, I think. You're getting the point. First phase, there's nothing called first phase of work. What is first phase of work? Like in execution, first phase of work, or what exactly? You're getting the point.
Yeah, I got it. So it should be the conclusion of project after all tasks have been completed. That what all we missed and what all we had to do. So that
So
kind of
lesson learned register means, let's say example, you have to learn some lesson. So like that you will put it like from the beginning, or in the middle, or at the end.
at the end only.
When is the lessons learned register created? Okay, tell me the answer by using some logic. Then we'll discuss about that.
Okay, so lessons learned register is created easily. So lessons learned means what? So lessons learned means what
Created,
all things.
created is different from documenting. Created means we can let's say example we can
Oh, okay,
creating
like
means
that.
like we can we have to do it as soon as possible. Documenting means lesson learned documentation is done at the end of something, like means you have done this task, what you have learned with that, something like that.
Okay, then logically, then it should be at the beginning of project execution.
Okay, got it, right? You have to use this logic like this.
Oh,
Okay, so you have to create it at the beginning only, not at the middle or not at the
okay.
end. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, logically, we have to think when it is created. I
yeah.
thought when it is, I
So
thought creation and updation will be done at the same time.
no, creation always you do at the beginning, always in anything. And if something like related with knowledge sharing, all the time of the project, something like that. It also happens.
Got it.
This also we have seen already. You can
Yeah,
skip
project
this one.
manager.
Okay, this will also you
Okay.
answer correctly. Uh, this also you have seen. Okay, this also you answer correctly throughout the project. This also you have seen. Okay, I think this is fine. So what we'll do, we'll go for one more quiz. Plan and manage risk. So plan and manage risk. Okay, start the quiz. Okay, this you have to do it little fast now.
Okay, yeah. You as a project manager have tailored the definitions of probability and impact level to your project as a part of a plan risk management process. These tailored definitions will be used in plan risk response, perform qualitative risk analysis, perform quantitative risk analysis, and identify risk. So, the impact levels of your project. So, perform quantitative analysis.
Quantitative or qualitative? This you will do at which level? Probability and impact.
Probability and impact will be okay. Qualitative, I think then.
Don't get confused. Quantitative means what we'll do, we'll see the figure, how much cost impact is there, how much scheduled impact is there, like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Be careful with these two words. Okay.
Yeah,
Go
yeah, they are confusing.
always probability and impact is qualitative analysis. Okay.
Mhm. So, we are in the process of risk identification. The identified risks are being documented as initial entries to the risk register. In the risk register, which of the following attributes of the risk is likely to be entered after the risk identification step? So, list of potential responses, root causes of the risk, identified risk and document description and process, assess the possibility of the risk. Entered after the risk identification, assess the probability of risk, identified risk and first one,
Okay, let's
because
see
the
it.
risk is identified.
No. See, what we have to do is, you have
Oh,
seen that cycle. First, you have identified the risk. Okay. So once you identify the
oh,
risk, you need to accept the risk. Then you need to go for having some kind of plan for the risk. This diagram. First, you identify the risk, then you have analyzed. In the analyzing phase, you have risk assessment, like probability and
assessment.
impact.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you do implement, then you control, then you will have things monitor like that. Okay. Go
Mhm.
for next question.
Okay. Okay.
What you do is, after this session, means like whenever you're free, like tomorrow, you go through the slides once again. Then you do this
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to.
session wise quizzes again. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
This
Okay.
will complete it
So
anyhow.
yeah. So which of the following is a good example of mitigating the probability of the risk of fire in a process plant? Install smoke detectors, install fireproof components, hire another company, keep the phone number of the smoke detectors, install fireproof components.
Great, great, very good. So actually in exam also, like they will give you like choices. So all the choices will look similar, but you have to choose the answer by wearing PMI hats. Means based on PMI, what is best? Something like that. All these are
Yeah, so
true,
smoke
but
detectors.
what is, yeah, what
Yeah,
is the best you can do something like
correct.
that.
Smoke detectors also is a option, but installing
Best one.
fireproof components will still
It's like
at
best,
least an
best,
option.
yeah, best mitigation
Yeah.
strategy like that. You have to choose the best one. Okay, this is little tricky
But
one. So this kind of bigger question, you read the last lines and then you answer.
okay, which of the following might be risk, either opportunities or risk for this project? Fluctuating material cost, finding another family. I think we answered this now. Finding another family for the house.
No, no, no. We have to answer three here. So,
Three. Oh, okay.
so this,
Okay.
this is,
Fluctuating,
I'll,
but
yeah,
weather and finding another family.
this one or this one. Don't get confused. This one or this one.
Vandalism. mm, Yeah, 2 and 4 are almost similar. No, not similar. I would say confusing.
So vandalism means it is similar to some kind of thunderstorm or something like that. Vandalism. What is this vandalism? We'll see it later on. And you have something related to that only.
Yeah, I
Finding
think
another.
vandalism means similar to like um, damage to the property.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yes.
Uh, uh, okay, I think vandalism.
Okay, I think it's correct as I know. Okay, all the three are correct. This one
Uh,
is like something odd option. Okay.
okay.
So you will get this kind of questions in exam. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what is the difference between avoiding the threat and mitigating it? Avoid
Okay.
means to reduce the impact and or probability, and mitigate means to change the management plan to move it. Sorry, avoid means to outsource the work. No, avoid means change the management plan. No, I think first one.
Which one? Sure. Okay. Avoid means to reduce the impact or probability. Okay. And mitigate means to change management plan to avoid risk. Mitigate is correct or not? Mitigate, I think, is wrong. Mitigate means to change management plan. What is mitigate basically?
Mitigate means how to handle it.
Yeah, mitigate means you have to reduce the impact. Means you have to reduce the probability of occurring the negative risk. Okay, so you have to need to mitigate it. Means you have to, whenever there's some kind of negative risk occur, you need to mitigate it. Something like you need to reduce the probability
Hmm.
and impact of occurring the negative risk. Mitigate means
But why I said
reducing.
that? Yeah, but why I said A is the answer is if you see last three options,
Hmm.
avoid meaning doesn't fit actually properly.
Avoid means like avoid what, how you will avoid the situation. Okay, so how you will avoid the situation is like whether you will reduce the probability and impact. No, I think you will not do any perform. Okay, whether you will outsource. No, whether to change the management plan to remove the risk. Okay, avoid means to change the management plan. So see, at least you have to go for the best one, at least what you know. Let's say example, you know mitigate completely. So mitigate is not matching here in the first option. Mitigate means to
Mhm.
reduce the impact of mitigate means to reduce the impact or probability. Mitigate means to accept. See, mitigate at least in second, third it is matching. So first and third, the fourth you can eliminate it. See, mitigate nowhere it is matching in first and fourth. Now the choice is between
Mhm.
second and fourth. What is mitigating? To reduce the impact of negative risk. Example, okay, you know this word. Mitigate
Mhm.
means I need to reduce the impact of or probability of occurring the negative risk. So now the choice is between you. Avoid means to outsource, whether you will outsource in avoid or whether you will change the plan.
Yeah.
No, I'm answering you.
Change
Like
the,
I'm asking you. Sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Should we change the plan?
okay. Okay. Let us see whether this is the answer. Okay. So you see
Oh,
how we
okay.
have to answer the question in exam by eliminating
Okay, okay.
elimination technique. So you have to use
Got
elimination
it.
technique. This elimination technique is will be very useful for you for answering the question. So at least
Got it. Yeah.
if you know some terminology, or if you know some kind of understanding, if you have some kind of understanding regarding the concept, like mitigate, mitigate, I know like 100%. Like in mitigation, we'll reduce the probability and impact of negative risk. So you can search for the term. Where is mitigate? Okay, mitigate. What is the impact? Okay, reduce the impact. So this at least it can't be first and fourth. That is sure. Something like that. It should, we have to reduce the. So then after that, avoid means outsource. When avoid, why will outsource, like that you can say. We can change the plan to remove the risk. Something like that. Okay, like this you have to use
Understood.
elimination technique and you can answer the question.
Understood. Okay. So you are in the risk. You are in the process of risk identification. The identified risks are being documented as initial entries to the risk list. Which of the following attributes of a risk is likely to be entered after risk identification steps? So identify risks and document it. I think the first one. We answered it, right?
No, no, first one or second one. Again, you're doing wrong.
Oh, yeah, yeah, correct, correct, correct.
See,
Yeah, assessing. Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah, the flow chart, correct, correct.
flow chart.
Assessing the
So
risk, correct.
see, keyword is this one. After the risk identification step,
Got it, got it.
what you will do? Accept the probability. Okay. So you
Assess,
have to
assess the
slide. You have
probability.
to revise the slides, man, multiple times. So what all the
Yes,
slides
sir.
course material is there, right? This you revise multiple times. Then you come to session wise quizzes. Then I think you can answer correctly.
Yeah. So, which of the following process establish relative priorities of project risk for plan risk response and lays the foundation for performing? Oh my
Okay.
God.
There you got time mode. Okay, no problem. We'll restart it again. Okay, this one. This one you are doing.
This is done. This
This
is
is
done,
done.
no?
Yeah, this one. Yeah,
Second one.
this also is done.
This is also done. Yeah, project manager should. No, no, not done.
You're not done this one. Third
No,
one,
no,
huh?
not done.
Fourth one.
Yeah, fourth one also not done. One. The project manager should involve his team.
Fourth one. Third one is
No,
done.
this is
Fourth
the
one is. Fourth
third.
one is not.
Yeah, third one is done. Fourth one, yeah.
Hmm.
Project manager should involve his team in performing the risk identification. This is because the team should develop responses to the risk identifier. The team can take responsibility for. Second one.
This one. Okay, let's see it.
Second one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Because for each risk, you need to have a risk owner, right? Or someone
Correct.
who is ready to take the responsibility. Good.
Okay, which of the okay, this is okay. Which of the following process establish relative priorities of project risks for plan risk responses and lays the foundation for performing qualitative risk analysis if required. Sorry, quantitative risk analysis. So, which of the
Point.
following process establish the relative priorities of the project risks? Project risk and plan risk. What if analysis?
Which one? What if?
What if?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, what if? Because priorities,
What if?
relative priorities. Yeah.
But what if we have this one in our syllabus? I don't think we have what if. We have what if something like that. We never cover what ifs. See, example in some in exam, some questions will be there which will be having made up terms which you haven't studied. So don't select that one. Like example, you have not studied in this PMI syllabus based on my slides. If in based on my slide, if something is not there, means that is not the answer.
Okay. So in this case, it should be qualitative risk analysis. Qualitative.
Quantitative. Let's see.
No, no, qualitative risk answer. Qualitative, right?
Yeah, sorry, qualitative. Sorry. What is happening? Not getting the answer. Okay, got it right. Qualitative risk
Yeah, got
analysis.
it. Yeah,
So qualitative risk response is you have the probability and impact. Okay, something like that. So which is close to
yeah.
like some answer. So whatever something you have not studied, don't choose that. Like in PMI, something in slides, what all we are going through. So later on, I will be getting some books also from you from PMI. Okay, so
Mhm.
so that you can read it one time or two times. So then you will be very much ready for the exam and for your next job also. So we have. I'm trying to get more quality
Yeah.
contents actually from for this project management. Okay.
Mhm. Assess the probability is already came. Hello?
Yeah.
Traffic, can
Good,
you hear me?
good. Yeah. Go ahead, good. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear.
Assess the probability of this.
Okay, we have seen already this one, right? Okay, fine. No.
Yeah, yeah, this is done already. Yes, sir.
Okay. So after identification, we are doing accessing. Okay, this also we have seen.
Yeah, this is.
Okay. Example of risk.
One second. Screen is not changed for me still.
Okay, no.
I'm seeing 8 question only still. Oh,
Eight
okay. Yeah,
only.
now it is. Yeah, okay. Which of the following can be treated as an appropriate example of a risk? We have determined that our schedule is not going to be, but we think it is possible there is a sale of this money. There are no enough. Second one.
Okay, what is this second one? Okay. Okay, good. Because like something which is like out of stock, something like that can be categorized as risk, right? Or you spend more
Yeah,
money. Okay, something. This we have seen already.
yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 1, 3, 5.
At what frequency is identify risk process to be performed in a project? This is also a very good question.
The risk is performed at uh, once during early stage of project. I think the risk is performed at the end of the process is iterative and frequency is quite a bit. The process is iterative and frequency varies. Last one.
Yeah, good. So it can be multiple time also. Iterative means repetitively, varies with the situation, means based on situation actually.
Correct, correct.
Okay, man, very good. So I think you are on track. You just need to revise the
Yeah,
slides.
yeah. I
What
need
all?
some revision.
Yeah.
So I think
So
that
what
is
all
there.
the slides are there? You keep on revising. So mostly, I think in another 1 month you will be ready for PMP exam. You will be ready. So if you revise
Mm-hmm.
things like the slides and by the speed which we are going, I think you should be ready by the time we complete at least somewhat 70 to 80% you'll be ready. Then after that, what you can do, you can practice mock exam. These mock exams are there,
Okay.
right? So agile mocks we have. So we have a lot of
Yeah,
mocks
full question.
actually. Full questions. You keep
Yeah,
on practicing. That will make very easy for you. Like example, you can start from mock one. Okay. So mock
correct.
one,
Yeah,
let's say
correct.
example, if you take here, okay. So we have 180 questions. So this 180 questions you attempt it from means like from your side. Once you complete the revision, like first you complete the slides revision 3 times at least,
Mm-hmm.
and then you complete session-wise quizzes also 2 to 3 times. Session-wise quizzes also you do 2 times. Okay, minimum 2 times
Okay.
session-wise quizzes you do, or maximum 3 times. So then once you do this, you come to this one. Okay, so then you can.
Okay.
Apart from this one also, if you have time, I means like in the preparation strategy, I'm saying what you can do is like you can do this mock also, this 180 question. Okay, first you do this 180 question, and after that, let's say example you're in office or some like traveling or somewhere also, you can do some kind of xerox of this one. Like you can take some multiple copies of this one. Wait, I'll tell you. This also I'll try to put in LMS, but I am intentionally keeping it out. Like sometimes we will be traveling out, right? That time what you can
Mm-hmm.
do is, let's say example you have this one, or let's say example you're not having system or something like that. We'll have some situation, right? So what you can do is you can practice it at means that place also. Like you can take a printout of this one 180 question. So then you can do like example this 180 questions are there. See these answers are there here basically. So here you have questions. Sorry. So here you can practice this 180 questions also later on. This one agile 180 questions also very useful. I think this one you can practice now also, because you are very good in agile, I have seen. So you can practice this 180 question. So you see how it is your progress. In 180 questions, how much percentage you are answering. Like 180 example is 100%. So 50% will be like 90 question. So like that you calculate how much percentage you calculated done correctly. So this you can track it in this sheet also. So this you can do for like 2-3 mocks, then you will be ready for the exam only. Something like that.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so you plan it as per your convenience. Like this is, I have kept it outside LMS also, and later on I will add it to LMS, or I will be keeping here also. But you have more questions here in LMS also. So here in LMS also, like you have a lot of mocks. Like you have mock 2, mock 3. Then you have practice test 2. This agile questions separate also are there. Then you have some brain teasing questions also. Finally, if you want to attempt. Okay. So this much if you do, you will be surely on track. It means like you can attempt the exam. Okay. So keep revising things, and if you have any doubt, message me. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay, man. Okay. Have a nice weekend, man. Enjoy. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Sophie. Have a nice festival week.
Thank you, man. Thanks again. Okay, man. Okay, man. Thanks again. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thanks, man. Okay, then. Yeah. Bye.